things are getting crazy up in here. Kim here, welcome back to my channel. This is the second discussion video for the It's Only a Read-Along of Caraval, chapters 13 through 26. And so this is the second of 3 discussions. I'll link the first discussion right there so that you can go check it out. The last video was a bit longer than I like because apparently I'm long-winded and I have a lot of things to say about this book, but I did have to kind of sum up the book. For this discussion, I really don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to, because if you're at this discussion, you're reading the book. If you're not reading the book and just watching this video because you're a nice person and a loyal fan, I'm not that cool, but if I have fans, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to sum up the middle portion of the book for you. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry. That's really all I can say about that. On to the book, chapters 13 through 26 of Caraval. We've taken some turns. Some things are great and some things are less great. And so I have some mixed feelings about a lot of things and we're gonna get there. Spoilers. This is just gonna be a spoilery video, okay? Like that's just where we are in this discussion. This is spoilers, just spoilers. Here be spoilers, like they're full of the spoilers, so don't watch this if you don't want spoilers because like I can't talk about this without spoiling it, so there you go. So spoiler alert, Scarlet dies halfway through the book. Where this section of the book ended, I'm just gonna say, like, I can't trust anything with this book. Which is how it's supposed to be, like, you're not supposed to be able to trust yourself, and so anytime I'm like, oh good, this isn't gonna happen, or oh great, this is gonna happen, like, something else happens, and I'm just like, what? We're just gonna go through this point by point. We did get more of Dante, which I really wanted, but then it started bordering on a possible love triangle, and I freaked out. It turned out not to be a love triangle, which is great. Something sad happened to Dante, so it was like, oh, I guess that's not gonna be a love triangle, but, you know, it could not be what it could be. You can't trust anything in this book. He could not even really be dead. So, you know, I think I'm getting kind of, like, annoyed with Julian. I feel like he likes making Scarlet uncomfortable, and that's just not a likable trait for me, and I feel like it's not entirely necessary. She's already, like, causing enough uncomfortableness internally that she really doesn't need his help. And so if like the author wants us to really get a sense that Scarlet is uncomfortable, you know, with the sexual tension between her and Julian, like we get that. We don't need Julian adding fuel to that fire. It's just kind of overkill for me. And so I felt like if you want us to like Julian, don't do that because, and maybe she doesn't want us to like Julian, which is fine. Like you can have a book where you purposefully don't want people to like your character, like that's fine. But I feel like it's not coming off like charming. It's coming off like cocky and annoying, and I'm starting to get frustrated with that. So the imagery is moving along, it's just fine. The world tasted like lies and ashes when Scarlet woke. That's gorgeous. I love that line. That's cool. I feel like I want to see and hear more about Caraval itself and the surroundings and things like that. Like we get there and we start to get it, but then we're back to like Scarlet's internal monologue of how do I feel about Julian and oh I need to find my sister, I shouldn't think about that. And this is a seriously cool place and I would like to hear more about it. I want to like really get a sense that I'm in there and I want like just a little bit more of what is going on in Scarlet's surroundings than what is going on in her head. I feel like the editing was rushed, and I'm not sure of the timeline to publication for this book. I'm not sure when it was actually accepted and had a pub date versus like where it was in the editing process because I feel like the editing was a rush job. That's just the sense I'm getting. Just how things are kind of like, there's a lot of redundancy with some things. I have an example of it. Julian comes back and he's like totally beat up and bleeding. Right here, she says, straighten her head. She tried to pull him into a better position. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave and get you help. I'm going to leave and get you help. Could have been edited to say, I'm going to get you help. Leaving is implied when you say I'm going. So basically this sentence, I'm going to leave and get you help, is you're saying you're leaving twice. I'm going, I'm leaving to leave. Does that make sense? There's things like that that just happen intermittently throughout here that I'm just like, you could have just, I mean, like, you could still say what you're saying and not, like, be redundant about it. And I know I'm kind of being redundant right now by just repeating myself, but that's just kind of something that I've noticed very often in this book. And so I feel like the editing may have been a rush job because things like that should have been caught and fixed. And that's just the writer in me. And maybe I'm just being kind of a jerk about it. It was really funny when I got to the end of chapter 21, when Scarlett's dead and she sees Julian in the dream as Legend, I wrote right here, I knew it! Because that really was my prediction for Julian, which is funny, was that Julian was going to turn out to be Legend. That was one of my predictions. I had two. One of them's still up in the air, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want it to be like I don't want it to wreck the reading experience for anybody that may be watching this. But, it was just, I don't think he is, because of course you can't trust anything, but, and then later he says he's not, and he reveals that he's Rose's brother and all this stuff, but I feel like that may not be true. We really don't know. And on that point of Julian and Legend and do you trust Julian, whatever, after Scarlett learns that Julian is Rose's brother, she learns this thing about Julian, that he's not Legend, that he's trying to avenge his sister's death/suicide. I liked that he and Scarlett had this bonding moment that kind of connected them, so that Scarlett is legitimately developing feelings for him that are like actual feelings, not just, oh, he's good looking and happens to be here, so I am developing feelings for him. Because until that point, it was very surface for me, like her feelings for Julian. It was very like, okay, he looks good, but what else? And she kind of touches on how like she feels safe around him, but I feel like that's just because she's not alone. That has nothing to do with Julian. Like very little about how she feels about Julian has to do with things outside of what he looks like. And so that gave me a little more like validation for their relationship, was them having this bonding moment and understanding each other emotionally so that she could develop some real feelings for him, because that's what will do it. Everything else was just kind of surface until now, and so I'm glad that finally happened. I just wish like a smaller part of it had happened sooner for me. If something did kind of happen sooner, it wasn't enough for me. Just personal, just for me. So there's that. And also with her and Julian, at the end of chapter 24, she wanted to believe him after everything that had just occurred. She ached to break down and fold into him, to trust him again like before. I'm not sure she ever really trusted him in the first place. I feel like this is the time that she can trust him. Like, I feel like this is the time when she finally is like, okay, we have like this, we have this relatable goal. Like, I'm trying to get my sister, you're trying to avenge your sister. Like there's this sort of commonality that they have, that they can understand one another on a deeper level. And so that is where this trust is going to build. Before now, this whole time, she's been like, okay, I want Julian here, but I still can't trust him. Like, I think I might be having a feeling for him, but I can't trust this guy. Like, so I don't know. I feel like we're a little wishy-washy there. Okay, let's talk about the color in emotional description, because I really, really liked that in the first section, and it's still going on. Scarlett is now aware of this. Scarlett had always seen her emotions in color, but she'd never seen another person's. She didn't know which shocked her more, that she could now see the color of Julian's feelings, or that those feelings were so wounded. Okay, so apparently Scarlett is like conscious of her like color vision. I don't know, it kind of killed it for me. It could be like a magical power where she can like sense, you know, her own emotions with color, and now it's like growing. She's with other people, which is like, that's fine, but that needed to be hinted at like more for me earlier on. It really honestly killed it for me. Like, it killed the beauty in the colors of emotions, because I really just felt like it was this cool stylistic writing choice. And now that it's not, I'm just like, boo. It's a bummer for me. And maybe some people like that more. Maybe they're like, oh, cool, it's magic power. So like, that's cool, which is fine. But personally for me, it killed it, which is a shame, because that was, I think, like my favorite part of this book. I'm very sad Dante died. I hope he's not really dead, because I thought he was cool. So to sum up, with the second section of Caraval, chapters 13 through 26, I'm bummed that the colorful emotion thing is like brought to awareness. I liked when that was just a writing style. I'm bummed Dante died. I hope he isn't really dead. I'm disappointed that until the end of the second section, Scarlett's feelings for Julian were really just like physical appearance based. And I'm disappointed that we just kind of keep hearing Scarlett's inner struggle and not so much about this beauty and wonder and whimsical coolness of where she's at, because that was why I read this book, was to see this cool Caraval, and we see it, but we don't see it enough, and that's just personal. Things I'm excited about. The mystery is getting more intricate and unfolded. I'm excited that there may be like this revenge thing with Legend, like Julian says that's what it is, but you can't trust anything, and so I'm still not sure that that's the answer. And so I'm still excited and happy that we still have some answers we need, and that we still like have even more questions than before, and I'm excited that we're figuring out this mystery. I was excited to learn that Nana was Legend's lover. I wasn't entirely surprised, but that was kind of a nice little validating kind of moment, which was cool. Oh, I was excited that Scarlett died. I thought that was really cool. I love when stories play with death. Like, I love this like different idea of death than what you think of it as this just like death. Like, I love when things are done differently with death, and this was really, really cool. I liked that intimate moment of Julian and Scarlett exchanging blood so he could take one of the days that she had to die. Was very intimate and very sweet, maybe. It was very like intimate and connecting, but I feel like Julian didn't do it because he likes Scarlett. I think he did it because he needs her. So there's that, which is another reason that Julian's kind of annoying me. Every time we go into a place, I get more excited, and I just wish we were there longer and doing more in actual Caraval. I liked the fortune teller guy who had all the tattoos, and he reads your thoughts based on what tattoo you're looking at on his body, and he's like totally covered. I thought he was so cool. I thought, what was her name? The girl with the notebook and the history of Caraval. I liked her. I liked the dress shop. When we're inside all of it, all of the stuff that's going on around Scarlett in Caraval is the stuff I really, really like, and I wish we did have more of it. So I'm excited to see the element her father's going to add. I'm excited to, you know, get answers in the last section of the book. I'm excited to see who Julian really is, because there's still more to him. There has to be. And I'm excited to see how it's going to wrap up. I hope it's not too much of a cliffhanger, because I'm pretty sure this is the first in a series or duology or something. And I really hope it's not just going to be this giant cliffhanger ending, because that is going to knock a lot of points off for me. A lot. That's where I'm at with this. February 19th, we'll be doing the final discussion videos for chapters 27 through to the end. If you are reading Caraval and you want to read with us, join in. No problems at all. All the information is going to be up there. Make sure you enter the giveaway, because on February 19th at like 11:59, the giveaway closes. So make sure you're getting your entries in for that, because we do want to give away a copy of The Night Circus. Those are my thoughts and feelings on section 2 of Caraval. We will see you guys for more on this on the 19th, and happy reading, and we'll see you next time. I have a note that says Dante equals bad guy. I knew it! And then I went back after I learned that he died, and I wrote, haha, nope. Hi. Rosa.